Next on Worcester News Tonight, counting down to Election Day. Look at the charter school issue on the ballot next week. Plus, the city receives millions of dollars in grant money from the state to help revitalize downtown. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Madison. Well, this time next week, many will cast their ballot on Election Day, and all eyes will be on the election board as the results come in. With 1 week to go, candidates are hard at work stumping for votes. And another issue getting a lot of attention this election cycle deals with expanding charter schools in Massachusetts. It's an issue voters seem split down the middle on. If question 2 passes, it will allow the state to raise the cap on charter schools and allow as many as 12 more schools in the state. Now, there are 2 charter schools in Worcester, Abby Kelly Foster and Seven Hills. Governor Charlie Baker supports lifting the cap. Earlier today, we caught up with Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, who says allowing more charter schools would give more students more choices.
In the places in neighborhoods like Boston or Lawrence or Lowell, where mothers don't have the same choices that I do, I feel we can level that playing field by lifting the cap, voting for question 2, and bringing more charters and choice to those parents and children who need a better education.
Meanwhile, many educators have come out against lifting the cap, saying more charter schools would hurt the public school system by taking billions of dollars away from public schools.
Are thriving, and the last thing that we need is an additional outlet for money to be funneled out of our budget and away from the students and away from the needed projects and programs and opportunities for our students that are currently within our system.
A recent Suffolk University Boston Globe poll of likely voters on the charter school issue was deadlocked at 45.4%, with 9% undecided. Again, question 2 is on the ballot for Election Day on November 8th. As many of the fastest growing industries in Massachusetts have connections to the science, technology, engineering, and math fields, a summit at the DCU Center helped prepare students and educators for the demands of higher education and the workforce. Our Olivia Lemon was at today's summit and has this report.
The 13th annual Massachusetts STEM Summit focused on building a lifetime of opportunity Tuesday at the DCU Center. Educators, business leaders, and students gathered to share strategies and ideas in the science, technology, engineering, and math fields. The day included breakout sessions, exhibits, and guest speakers, including Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito. Organizers say networking plays a major role at these events because educators are able to learn from one another.
It's all about sort of strengthening the pipeline of students interested in, excelling in STEM subjects, pursuing higher education in those fields, and ultimately filling jobs, really good jobs in the state that need that kind of talent.
The summit is hosted by the Massachusetts Business Roundtable, Massachusetts STEM Advisory Council, and the UMass Donahue Institute. Andy, back to you.
Thanks, Olivia. Well, organizers say more than 1,400 people attended today's summit, and they plan on continuing it for years to come. In Sterling tonight, police are looking for 3 men suspected of attacking an elderly woman inside her home on Halloween. Catherine Sotnick has the latest.
Police on scene at a sprawling $1 million home along Stephanie Ann Lane in Sterling, Mass. Just before 10 a.m. Tuesday, a 7-year-old woman allegedly bound by her hands and feet with duct tape at knife point by 3 men, 2 wearing ski masks, another wearing a Halloween mask.
They were masked up, they were gloved up, and they were all wearing black clothing. The only description is they're all approximately the same height, 5'8", 5'9".
The woman inside said the man demanded money and access to a safe while holding the knife to her throat. No safe exists, according to police. Neighbors are frightened by the whole ordeal.
You think that it's not going to happen here? It hits way too close to home.
Investigators say the suspects got away with $1,000 cash in this Cadillac sedan, later recovered Tuesday in a makeshift baseball field in town. The car was processed by Mass State Police and brushed for fingerprints.
We don't believe it was a random. We don't think the house was just picked out off the side of the street.
Police won't say who the victim is or why the house was targeted. But late Tuesday, the suspects were still on the loose.
I have 2 kids. I know that, they get off the bus, they wait for the bus. Not something I would expect to deal with here.
And that was Catherine Sotnick reporting. Anyone with any information on last night's incident is urged to call the Sterling Police Department. Well, in Worcester, a man is facing robbery charges after police found him hiding in an attic. Officers responded to reports of an armed robbery around 2 Monday afternoon. The couple says they were sitting in their car on Acomb Street when 25-year-old Chad Bishop approached them, flashed a gun, and demanded money. He then took off. Short time later, several officers went to Bishop's home on Reeves Street, where they found him hiding in the attic. Police say Bishop is known to the victims. Dozens of businesses awarded safety grants today by the state, including a few local companies in Worcester. The Secretary of Labor and Workforce Development met with the staff at Sweet Kitchen and Bar in Worcester, one of several to receive the safety grant. Money will be used toward CPR training as well as dealing with safety issues in the front and back of the restaurant.
To make something special.
Now we're at 3.6%.
If someone in the staff in the kitchen ever gets hurt, because these things happen, or if a customer has an accident in the dining room, to have its staff that's fully trained and to be confident that everybody in the restaurant, no matter who's working at any time, that there's someone there that knows that and is properly trained is very important.
Also in the city today, Governor Charlie Baker and Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito visited the city to award Worcester money. The administration says there were many projects to choose from in the state, but 2 in Worcester stood out. Our Brittany Schaefer reports.
This is not a gift, okay? This is what we consider to be a statement.
The Baker-Polito administration awards millions of dollars in grants to Worcester projects Tuesday. Worcester Stearns Tavern and downtown projects were selected as grant recipients of the MassWorks program.
So if you can take public dollars and leverage private dollars and make things happen in places like Worcester, then we're doing our job the way we should be.
We got about 2.5 times in dollar value applications for what we had available to spend.
The Baker-Polito administration had hundreds of projects in need of grants in Massachusetts and say 2 in Worcester were deserving.
What really makes it stand out is that it wasn't one single group that made this project come to this point. It was a group of people that were really mission-driven.
I think is a reflection that we had 2 worthy projects and we had done our homework in terms of making our case to the state.
The city received a $2.3 million grant to revitalize Main Street and the downtown area.
It's going to be a complete redo of the sidewalks, the street, a bike path, new street lights, and it's really going to kind of lift up the core infrastructure on Main Street and downtown.
You'll see just a great place for the community to come together.
Worcester also received $100,000 to preserve Stearns Tavern. City manager Ed Augustus says the funding will repurpose the first floor and build a playground for people of all abilities.
We saved one of the oldest buildings in the city of Worcester, and we're creating a playground that doesn't exist anywhere else, not only in Worcester but in central Massachusetts.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
3 people are lucky to be alive tonight after being involved in a serious car accident in Harvard. The single car crash happened just after 7 this morning at the intersection of Air Road and Lancaster County Road. 3 passengers were taken to local hospitals with minor injuries. Still no word on what caused the